Okay, hold on.
Okay, I'm going to put you in the waiting room and we'll go live in a couple minutes. Okay, we are live. It is the Sunday night talk. The AFC Championship game just ended. We are recording this 8:56 Central Time. We officially have a Super Bowl. We're going to run down everything that happened in these two games today and preview our matchups. Omar is here. We have a lot to discuss, but before we get to the show, don't forget, if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, do it right now. Hit the subscribe because all my stuff is up there. Put a new YouTube short up there this morning. My stand-up comedy clips are up there. Not to mention this very show, the Sunday Night Talk, is down to 2 more episodes in the season. Tonight, conference championship, and in the Super Bowl. Let's start the show because we have a Super Bowl. All right. Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs is our Super Bowl. Omar Carmona is here. Wow. We got the game we wanted in the late game. Just right off the bat, your reaction to the Buffalo Bills' final possession.
It's just disappointing. I don't like the play calling. I kind of thought they took it out of Josh Allen's hands. I didn't like that misdirection. Well, maybe it looked like a misdirection run. It's and I don't know. Not the best end. I'm second guessing a lot of the play calling for the Buffalo Bills.
We're going to talk about the game more in depth, of course, but it really seemed like they found something in the second half with the run heavy approach, and yet it was taking like fourth down conversions on each drive to really complete these drives. And even the touchdown they did get was like really tough once they got inside the 10. I don't fault them for the play calling because it was working, but it seemed like there was that half a step missing to really put the Chiefs on their heels, which they definitely had them on their heels a couple times, but not enough. And then that last fourth down play was, I mean, really a defensive masterpiece because Steve Spagnuolo brought pressure when they were not expecting pressure, and that pass still almost got completed.
Yeah,
What a 2 weeks for tight ends
and
dropping in
drops.
important balls. So, oh boy, we got two games to talk about. Omar, how you doing on this Sunday conference championship, which is my favorite weekend of the NFL?
Well, it is. My daughter had a singing performance, so I was able to. My son was playing the game during the performance, which, I mean, you
Oh, is
can.
that right? We're talking viewing the game on a phone, huh?
Yeah, so we did that. So I didn't get much audio, but I did. But and I did watch the first half of the Commanders Eagles. The second half I saw from, but then by the time the second half of that first game, the game was over.
Really, just a
Um,
first half game. Yeah, that
it
that
really
first
was.
one.
Not a
Yeah,
good game, but a successful season for the Commanders.
definitely.
But it was a good, the second game did live up to the hype. Just not the reaction, not the outcome I thought. I thought that this was the year that the Bills were finally going to get it together and overtake the Chiefs, and it just didn't happen.
I kind of was wrong on both picks today. I really got on the Washington bandwagon this week, and I really was ready to kick kick the Philadelphia Eagles bandwagon off the road. I was not impressed with them the week before, so I loved Washington, and I was with you. I was like, this is the Bills' year. This is the year they have it figured out. I know it's going to be tough. I know it's going to be a close game. I know it's going to be a heavyweight match. I just thought they were the better team again on paper, but that's not what comes down to. And just looking at my notes, it's one of those games where I'm going to have to rewatch tomorrow to see where it really tipped to the side of the Chiefs in this game. But going into Sunday, just before all the games started, I had a few things on my mind that I wanted to talk to you about, things I wanted to bring up. Two main issues, or I would say three main points I want to make in the opening. Point number one, we had the rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels, in a conference championship game. There have been five other quarterbacks who have been a rookie and in a conference championship game, and none of them have made it to the Super Bowl, and that streak
And
continues.
that streak unfortunately continued.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels being the sixth rookie QB to be in a championship game. I'm going to read the names. You had Sean King for Tampa Bay, Ben Roethlisberger for Pittsburgh, Joe Flacco, Baltimore, Mark Sanchez, New York Jets, Brock Purdy, San Francisco 49ers, and then, of course, Jaden Daniels. But the big thing that jumps out to me is those five first names were largely game managers type of QBs at that point in their career. And Jaden Daniels just seems so far ahead of those five names. And I don't think you can really pin this loss solely on Jaden Daniels. I don't even feel like he got unleashed in this
No,
game per se. This was really a game of turnovers.
I agree. They just did not protect the football, and the Eagles just seemed to capitalize every single time they got their hands back on the ball.
Credit to the Eagles offense, which we buried last week. They turned every single one of those turnovers into points. And
Well,
when Hurts had to make a throw, he did. They weren't high pressure throws. This was throws in the first half to convert a third down, early third. He made them. He took the one sack that was bad in the first half, and that was it. It was an overall improvement, and we all thought he was injured this week, and he looked good. Back that with a huge Saquon day.
I mean, I mean, Patrick, maybe you know the rules. Is playoff performance, does that still go into the consideration for the MVP?
We were talking about this. I watched the game with my brother and his kids today, and it was to my understanding that the votes are already in because it's based off of the regular season, right?
Well,
So
I mean, it's just, I just, you're looking at Saquon Barkley have this kind of performance in a championship game. How is he not on a year that he gets 2,000 yards, has to sit out the last game because obviously they were protecting him for a long playoff run. But how is he not in the conversation?
I'd be willing to change the rules to you can't win the MVP if you're not in the playoffs. You know,
Okay,
so I'd be willing to consider the playoffs as part of your MVP candidacy. And if that's the case, who are front runners? Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Saquon, right?
hmm
And if we took the vote today, it's probably Saquon, right?
I would think so,
It's probably just goes down the line of the performance Saquon, Josh Allen, then Lamar.
right?
Yeah, okay. So to my knowledge, it was based on the regular season. And if we're talking regular season, we were saying it was Lamar versus Josh Allen. Mainly people leaning towards Lamar, but man, maybe we need more research. Maybe they do consider the playoffs, and maybe we should because the MVP should be in the playoffs, right? If they're not, maybe you just eliminate yourself.
Right.
Like the Libertarian Party. So, other point I wanted to make going into conference weekend, I wrote down two categories, Omar. Things I wanted to see for conference weekend, things I didn't want to see for conference weekend. So things I wanted to see. I wanted to see a performance from an unknown. We didn't really get that, but I always love it when someone like a third stringer or someone who was on the practice squad earlier in the season has the breakout game. Didn't see that. I wanted to see strategy. And I think we did see that out of the Chiefs D. And I think we saw it out of Buffalo's offense as well. So we got strategy, and I wanted to see a defining play. And I think maybe we had like 6 of them in the Chiefs Buffalo game. But I would say the Philadelphia very first offensive play from scrimmage, Saquon running for 60 yards for a touchdown, would qualify for my defining play. Is there anything like you personally want out of a conference championship weekend?
No, I just want good games. I want good games. I don't want games decided by the referees. I
Right. Well,
don't.
we're still on the wants. Well, we're going to get to what I don't want.
Okay. No, I just want good games. That's all I want.
Okay. Here's the things I didn't want. I didn't want a significant injury early, a la the Brock Purdy a couple years ago. Something that we're just like, the game is off from the very start. I did not want a game-changing referee call. Thankfully, we did not have that today. I did not want a mental breakdown, where a player goes crazy and and has the personal foul. We got a little close in Philly, Washington to some of it. And then lastly, here's the big one. You know what I didn't want today? I didn't want a Philadelphia Kansas City Super Bowl.
I didn't want that either.
That's what we got.
We just had one 3 years ago or 2
We had
years.
one 3 years ago. Philadelphia is the most boring team to me in the playoffs. And Kansas City, we've seen, although I'm rooting for the three-peat. I just would like to see the accomplishment.
And I will go. I'm going to go for the Eagles.
Okay.
Well, only because I'd like to see where Saquon Barkley was a year ago, being basically cast aside for Daniel Jones by his own franchise. I think that'd be something special for Saquon Barkley to get a Super Bowl title.
Yeah, he's my favorite Philadelphia Eagle. Just something not likable about the Eagles in general, except for Saquon. I like him. Just that whole tush-push series that happened during the game just aggravated me. It's like, why do you run this play, Philadelphia? It's not exciting. It almost seems like cheating in some way. And we'll talk about it, but it just seems like it's not football we're watching. I don't like it. It kind of works 75% of the time, but it's just so aggravating. Somebody's going to get their face smashed in to keep doing it. So, what are things you don't want out of a conference
Again,
weekend?
I don't want referees deciding games. I don't want a game decided by some ticky tack, interference. I felt so bad that one year the Saints were screwed over.
It's funny we don't talk about that game that much in history. It's just one of the most horrendous non-calls in football history.
And definitely cost them a spot in the Super Bowl that year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was it. I mean, that would have been game ending.
Yeah, and so I never want to see that. I don't want to see injuries. I don't want the star quarterback hurting his leg so that we have a backup. Although that's what maybe the American dream is. Maybe a backup comes in, but no, I'm glad to see everybody was healthy. And other than that, that's all I'm looking for. That's what I don't want to see in the game.
And what's your schedule like for conference championship Sunday? Because of these 4 teams, Washington, Philly, Kansas City, Buffalo, it just definitely seemed like Washington was the outsider in these 4 teams. It seemed like everybody was of the mindset that Buffalo, KC was the game.
Right.
Unless you were a particular fan of either Washington or Philadelphia. So what are you going into Sunday? Like, what's on your mind as far as the game you have to watch, you have to sit down for, you have to have food for? Was it like that for you?
I do. I love champion, but this year I had my daughter had a singing performance, so I was getting ready. I had to go to the store to get flowers and whatnot. So it wasn't my typical Sunday, a championship Sunday.
Gotcha. So you went with the phone. So luckily you had a phone. that you could
Yeah.
have on the ready. Now, did you do like the earbud so you could listen
No, no,
unless
I
it
just
said
no, no,
look
I just
down,
no,
or you
no,
just kind of had it in your peripheral?
I just needed the visual.
Gotcha. So you're just sort of peeking down, giving it a quick look when you
Right.
need to. Okay. You know what I love about conference championship weekend, really just in general, is I just love the pageantry that when it starts off, you get the national anthem. Philadelphia had a bald eagle fly through the stadium. It was pretty cool. I love that it's like, all right, Final Four, we're kicking off the Super Bowl in 2 weeks, and it starts today. It's definitely an energy because you have, there's a home team,
Right.
and you can make a million different storylines out of like, this is the team that hasn't been to the Super Bowl since whatever. This is the team trying to get back, or this is the QB that needs redemption. And whatever storyline you want, you will find conference championship weekend. And I made one little note during the week. I love the pre-game sit-down interviews with the Aaron Andrews, the Gronkowskis. Aaron Andrews had a sit-down interview with Josh Allen, and she says, Josh Allen, welcome to the 100 Club. And he goes, what's that? And she goes, 100 straight starts. And he goes, oh, wow, I didn't even know that. And she goes, yeah, how's it feel? Like, he didn't know that's a thing. Two
Right.
seconds ago, Aaron Andrews. And he's like, good. I still don't know why we need these interviews at all. I don't know what the point of them is. You might as well watch the Kathy Bates Matlock and get just as much ratings. I thought that was worth noting. Jesus, guys. All right. Washington, Philly. Let's start with this one. The game got out of hand in the second half big time. 55-23. Second half, maybe even second quarter on, this game really seemed like a fight was ready to break out at any moment. Did you get that feeling? This was very testy of a game.
It got chippy, but at the end of the day, Philadelphia just beat them down. I mean, it was just a beat down. It was just too much depth. That offensive line really won the game in the trenches for the Eagles. And again, those when you got a team that's capitalizing on each turnover the way they were, it was turnover, touchdown from what it seemed like. You're not going to win on the road.
It's too hard. I mean,
Way too hard.
it's boring to say don't turn the ball over, but it was never more true in this game. I really think if those 3 turnovers didn't happen, I think Washington's taking this game to the fourth quarter.
It's possible.
Jaden Daniels was moving the ball on this team. They just were in such a hole early in this game, and it just became too much. And I give Philadelphia credit; they could run the ball on them. They were getting yards. Were you impressed with this Philadelphia team? Did you think they had this kind of game in them?
I did. I mean, but I did think that there was going to be a better showing. Um, but look, it just didn't happen for them. But look, the Commanders have a lot to build on. They're going to be back. They're going to be back.
Yeah, it's one of those playoff losses where you walk out of there going like, well, no one thought we'd make it this far. Look how far we came, and you know what? We're just growing for next year. If you're a Washington fan, I think you start to feel better tomorrow about
For
your
sure.
team because the future is so bright. I mean, notes on the game, the 3 turnovers were so huge, especially that one with Eckler when they're just starting to move the ball and you're like, "Oh, if they get a score here, we've got a game." And they're moving, and then just a rough fumble. Just the worst kind of fumble. Gaining yards, ball punched out. Really rough to see. It's 34-15, and it almost feels like it's 50-7 at that point. That being said, Washington got a TD after that. They got to stop, and then the Eckler fumble happens. And then we have something I've never really experienced. Philadelphia has the ball. They get to the 1, and they line up for the tush push. And there's like 5 offsides calls on Washington in a row. And the referee announces, if they do it again, we could give them a touchdown. Have you ever heard of anything like that?
Nothing.
That's when this game came off the rails to me. I was like, what is happening? Like, the number one, of course, this is a Philly thing. Of course, this is NFC Championship. Of course, the game's getting out of hand. That's when I thought the fights were going to break out. I was
Right.
like, it's getting too loose out there. I almost wish he did it just so we had something crazy in this game. Okay, so we talked about Washington was actually not bad in offense other than all the fumbles. Do you think they should at some point done the no huddle and start to go fast? I mean, it seems like when an offense is struggling, the move is to go no huddle. And they really did until the very, very end.
Nothing was going. I don't know if that could have made a difference. It just didn't seem like anything they were doing was working.
Really? I feel that they put a few drives together, though, don't you?
That now we're going to turn the ball over like that.
Well, I feel the ball turning over stuff was more so good plays by the defense, punching the ball out. There was the Eckler fumble. One was on special teams.
Right.
So I felt that the fumbles were more good play by the defense caused. I mean, we didn't have a Jaden Daniels dumb interception.
No.
We didn't have a Jaden Daniels strip sack. I just feel like it was bad ball security. I don't feel like Washington was really stopped on offense per se. I mean, once you get down and they know you have to throw, that's one thing. I feel like a no huddle series was missing from Washington. And then flip it, Philadelphia was definitely throwing the ball on the Commanders. The Washington's defense was definitely struggling against the Eagles.
Bad struggle. They just couldn't stop. They could not stop Saquon.
They really couldn't. And he was the MVP of the game. He is so good. He is that character in Madden where you can do a running play and instead of running forward, you just run your running back all the way backwards and you get all the defenders chasing him and then you just run up the sideline. There was that first touchdown. I think one guy missed him twice. He was like, oh, spin move. Oh, I missed him. Oh, he's back. I missed him again. Unbelievable. So do you think Philly can repeat this kind of performance?
Yes, they can. And I think they stack up next to this KC team better than they did last time they were in the Super Bowl. I think there's more I think there's more weapons. I think Gainwell, they're going to need Gainwell. I think Gainwell is a great backup, fill in for Saquon in the backfield. Also brings another dimension. So they are going to need him for Super Bowl success. But if you look what the Philadelphia defense is doing, this Philadelphia defense is by far and away more superior than that Philly defense from 2 years ago.
I'd agree with all that. Where are you on liability Hurts?
He's the Eagles offense, they're only going to go as far as Hurts can take them. But as long as he can protect the football, but obviously that knee is a concern.
I would imagine they're going to lean heavy on the run, almost in the sense of take the ball out of Hurts' hands. And if we just weigh the defenses, Washington versus KC's, I'm a little worried for Philadelphia. I don't think they're going to have the offensive performance or output that they did today. That's my concern Sunday night, just looking at this Philadelphia team moving forward. So interesting. I mean, just an overall interest. It seem like the early conference championship game is always a little funky, and it's usually the late game that's a little better.
Yeah.
This Philly one was weird. It was classic. The tuck rule, which seemed not tuck rule, the tush push scenario that happened, I think took like 7 minutes, actual running time, 7 minutes of offsides and replays and resetting. And oh my God, I hated it. Where are you on the tush push? Do you like it? Do you not like it? It's necessary evil.
It's a necessary evil.
It's just so weird that Philly's the only team that can do it.
But they do it so well.
Yeah. They really do. I don't know why any other teams haven't figured out to do it just as well. It's just uniquely them. And what are they on, like their third year of doing it too?
Yep.
Strange. Very strange. All right, let's go to the late game. Heavyweight matchup, Buffalo at Kansas City. Just looking at my pages of notes, I mean, I have double the pages of notes for this game over the Philadelphia game. Kansas City, one of the easiest touchdown drives on their opening drive to start the game. The first turnover Buffalo gets, they got a fumble. I thought Josh Allen was a little loose with the ball in his first couple possessions, but no turnovers, but he was running with the ball like out quite a bit. And there was a couple of jump balls I wasn't too crazy about, but no turnovers. And then Buffalo gets a TD at the end of the first half, which was huge. Put them down 16-21 because KC was feeling themselves a little bit at the end of that first half, and they're getting the ball at the start of the second half. What'd you think? What'd you think going into this game? We both thought Buffalo had a shot at this game. And the first half, they're already playing from behind.
I thought they should have given the ball more to James Cook to run. It kind of seemed like he didn't get the ball enough. I don't know. It didn't seem like the same Buffalo team that we had seen in the regular season. Remember, Buffalo was a team that beat, at one point, they were the only team to have beaten KC and Detroit, and which said a lot. And they just didn't have it today. I don't know. Do you think it's fair to Sean McDermott? Is he safe for another year? I mean, it seems like this has gone on too far. How many more chances are you going to need to get past the Kansas City Chiefs?
I don't know.
You aren't the guy.
I don't even know if we can answer that because the Chiefs, I mean, their biggest problem is they happen to be playing at the same time as Mahomes. Like this isn't one of those deals where we've got these elite quarterbacks and they're all pretty good and they can all switch off winning Super Bowls. They ran into the buzzsaw of the dynasty that's the Kansas City Chiefs. And as I go back and watch this game in full, like tomorrow, it really comes down to that last drive. And arguably, the maybe getting the Chiefs stopped using their timeouts at the end. But that last drive and essentially that last play where Josh Allen is forced to throw a jump ball, still almost got caught. It would have been the crazy, like what I wanted, a breakout performance from a player that we weren't expecting. What did Kincaid? Did he catch any balls in this game anyway? I don't even remember his name being called. And it hits him in the hands there. It's brutal. All right, start of the second half though. Your note of let's run the ball not only makes it to Buffalo, but they get the ideal scenario. They stop KC on their first drive. They get the ball, and they run the ball every single play but one play. And even that play was a short pass. That was kind of like a running play. And they get a TD, but it took them to a 4th and goal to get it. But just on a phenomenal run by Cook to get into that goal line. Like, that was a jump up and down.
It really was. That was a phenomenal effort.
Yeah. And I have this written down. There was so many plays in this game where I am nervous pre-snap. Sometimes like teams line up and they're all bunching the line or guys are going in motion and you're nervous before the ball is even snapped or it's 4th and 1. And you're like, what are they going to do? Pass it, run it. What are they going to do? There was so many plays in this game alone where I'm like, oh shit, I have no idea what's going to happen right now. And that Cook touchdown run was amazing because he reaches, he puts the ball in the end zone. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure he got into the end zone, but I'm not 100. I got to see this replay. I can't really react till I know. So this game just had this nervous energy to it. Second half, where did this game really pop off for you?
Where did it pop off for me?
Yeah, where did you know we were watching something epic?
It was just it's just when it was it was a 4th and short, and the Bills need time to think about it between the third and the fourth quarter. I just knew, here we go again. This is just one of those games.
Did you know the Chiefs were going to pull it out? When did you know?
No. I really thought I really thought it was going to be the Bills.
Start of the fourth quarter, Romo says, I think Romo said like in 5 different times, biggest play of the game, Jim. Like, there was so many critical plays in this game. Like, there was a sack on Mahomes where this guy just grabs his ankles and he trips him up, and otherwise Mahomes would have ran for the first down. We get there so many 4th downs, and the Bills are really like They're not just going for it on fourth downs. They're running a play on third down, knowing they're going to go for it on fourth down. So there's a lot of that. The big one that I think we got to go back and look at tomorrow was that fourth down where Josh Allen sneaks it, and one referee marks him at the first down line, and another referee marks him short. They go with the short. They replay it. They keep the call on the field, and they turn the ball over. I swear in the replay, it looked like Josh Allen made the line. Did that play seem weird to you?
It did. And I think they even pointed out the two referees kind of looked like they had two different spots for it.
Yeah. That's the play. In the replay, it looked like he made the yard marker because the first down was like right on, what was it, the 30, something like that. And it looked like he got to it. I couldn't tell. That was a really nervous play. Another nervous play, which was really weird. It's like a 4th and 1 again, and Josh Allen sneaks it, but he does the let me reach the ball over the top, but he's falling down and everybody's swiping at the ball.
Yeah.
Another totally nervous play. For some reason, someone forgot to tell Josh Allen you can QB sneak the ball on the right side.
Every time?
Did he go to the left side every single time?
It seemed like it.
I think he did, and I think he got stopped every single time. I think if he didn't, he got stopped half the time easily.
Right.
Chiefs get the TD, but the Bills tie it with a touchdown. I mean, great. That was a great drive. Probably the Bills' best drive. They scored a touchdown with 6 minutes left in the fourth. So the Bills are down 32-29. This is the Bills' last possession. Allen gets a first down run on a 2nd and 11. And we go right to 4th and 5. Like they really didn't even cross the 50. It didn't feel like they really threatened. They have that play, which Romo was like, no way they blitz. And they blitzed. Buffalo has all their timeouts. KC comes down to a 3rd and 9. They convert it, run out the clock, game over.
Game over.
I mean, I think it really comes down to this last drive for the Bills. If it's different, we're saying like they finally did it. They figured it out. It was a tough game, but they did it. And when it came down to it, I think the Chiefs out-strategized the Bills. It's the only thing I can think of because that blitz was not expected and it was a jump ball. And maybe Kincaid catches it next time, maybe he doesn't, but the Chiefs go down blitzing. I don't know why. I don't know why that wasn't expected in the least, but they blitz. The Chiefs blitz a lot.
It was a good, you know what? Hats off to Spagnuolo. I think called a great game against Josh Allen.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting? We're talking like all these coaches switching around and who's getting what job. Spagnuolo never really comes up as a head coach.
But
he doesn't want to do. I think he was a head coach of somebody.
He did get his shot. He did get his shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Who did he coach again? I forgot.
I think it was the Chiefs.
Was it really?
Yeah.
It seems like he's very comfortable
Or
with
was it the Rams?
I don't think it was the Rams. You may be right on the Chiefs. We're going to have to put the research department on it. But it just seems like they have such a good system because their coaches aren't leaving every other year. Spagnuolo's like, all right, I'll take care of the defense. They've had a lot of turnover on offense, of course, but if Mahomes is on your offense, maybe you don't need an OC. Maybe you're fine. So
it was the Rams.
Was it? God,
2009 to 2011.
God, I missed that part of my life. All right, so where are you on Super Bowl Chiefs? They're going to be the favorite for this game, right? And what can they do against Philly, and what should they be concerned about?
Is that what the line is already? I mean, are they going to be an overwhelming favorite?
I'm just guessing. I would think they'd be a favorite. If I were to guess, I would guess the line is 2.5, maybe 3.
Yeah, is that what's that? Let me see. I mean, let me see.
No, I'm guessing. I don't know what it is. I'm just putting on my degenerate gambler hat.
Eagles are expected to be a 1.5 point underdog.
Eagles -1? Eagles the favorite? I don't see that at all.
I'm saying a -1.5 underdog.
Oh, Eagles -1. Okay, so I was guessing. Oh, okay. That's making sense. I mean, you have to say one thing is that the Chiefs have had way more offense in this postseason than they did in the regular season. It's almost like they're planning like, yeah, we know we have a 20-game season. We're not going to burn ourselves out against the Chargers in week 7. So what do you like about the Chiefs in the Super Bowl? Is that your pick right now?
No, my pick is I'm going to go with the Eagles. What I'm just saying
Really? All
is
right,
that
make the case.
with their experience, though, how can you bet against the Chiefs? I mean, they've been there, done that. They've adjusted. Everybody was talking about how Travis Kelce looked terrible this regular season, and next thing you know, he's back in the swing of things. And Juju Smith-Schuster getting, they just seem to have these guys just come up making plays for them when they need it, and the Chiefs will bring that.
Yeah, they ran the ball well too when they needed to as well. I would be most nervous about Steve Spagnuolo's defensive game plan against Hurts right now. When it's 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9, I don't know if Hurts can manage an offense like Josh Allen did today. So my thought is that's the battle. If the Eagles can figure out blitzes, if they can figure out a play call, a game plan. Also, we need to know the status of the Eagles center because the center didn't play today for the Eagles. So we need to figure out if the center is playing again come Super Bowl. They got 2 weeks to heal up. What about, let's flip it. Philly defense against KC offense. Who do you think has the advantage there?
Philly defense.
Really? Wow.
I think they are peaking at the right time.
Jeez. It's interesting. This is just like a KC offense that we're just getting used to right now. We're like, oh yeah, they can do these things.
Yeah.
And if they're the only team where it's 3rd and 15 and you're like, yeah, they'll probably get this.
Right.
The only team where it's like, there's no such thing as 3rd and long enough for the Chiefs. So, wow, you're on the Philly train right now.
I am on the Philly. One thing I did want to mention about the Commanders going back real quick is in the first drive, they had a few, 3rd down and 4th down conversions. And then when they were left at another 4th and 2, then they kicked it for a field goal. Obviously, settling for a much shorter field goal.
Yeah.
But I kind of was thinking, like, you already gone this far. You've already converted 4th down twice.
Why not? 2 4th down conversions on that opening drive.
And it didn't seem like they were doing anything to stop it. So I thought that was, I just kind of wondered, like, well, if you're playing like this, like a poker player on a riverboat, well, you got to keep going.
Yeah, that's a good point. And they went into this game knowing, like, if it's 4th and 5 or less, we just go for it.
Yeah. I don't know what it was, what the thought was in slowing it down.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like, well, we got close enough. And in some weird way with football, I feel the same way when they don't convert a 2-point conversion. It's almost like, all right, well, whatever. It's like almost like half a score. Like when you don't convert a 2-point conversion, your touchdown doesn't feel good anymore. And when you drive all the way down and you get a field goal, it's almost like you kind of gave up on the drive. So that was a weird game plan, but it works for them. That's their game plan. That's their strategy. This is the note I had. I thought I was a genius when I wrote it down. Maybe I'm not. The Washington fake punt that they ran.
Oh.
Did you see that coming?
I saw that one. I did not see it coming, but that was, they had the Tress Way, he's celebrating like he's, an MVP quarterback himself. But it was a great play. Great design.
I'm watching that and it's like 4th and 8. So you're like, okay, well, they go for it on 4th and 5 and under. They're not going for it, but they're kind of on the 40 and they're lining up. I'm like, this is a fake punt. They're faking this. I think it's the only time I've ever predicted a play in the history of my life. And they ran it. And of course, I'm watching the game with my brother and I'm like, hey, fake punt. I told you you're going to fake punt. And he goes, yeah, what are you going to do? Not impressed at all that I called the fake punt. He's like, yeah, how about that? Didn't really care. But I was like, this is This is great. Had they won the game, we'd be talking about that fake punt for the next 2 weeks. That punter would be on Jimmy Kimmel Live. I love when the punter gets to throw the ball too, don't you?
Yeah, that was
Because they're
nice.
yeah, because they're all like former quarterbacks from like high school or something, so they get a shot to throw. But it was not to be. Fake punt. I mean, like a great special teams play in conference weekend is always good. Great highlight. I'm really convinced that when I rewatch this Buffalo Kansas City game, I'm gonna see 5 or 6 plays where I'm like, that's where they lost it. Why did the Bills do that? They had them on the run here and they couldn't close it. The funny part is like the Chiefs were up in this game most of the game anyway. Bills are
Right.
playing from behind. I don't know if that has an effect, but it's something about being behind on the road that just makes a team just a little agitated, a little more nervous with each possession. Where do you think the Bills go from here
I,
next
I
year?
mean,
I mean, is there anything they need? I don't
look,
think there's
they
anything they
have
need.
they
They need
have
Mahomes
their
to retire.
they have their quarterback. They have a good offense. They have a good defense. I mean, they. I'm just now wondering, is it this group of coaches that's going to get them there?
I don't feel like I had a big problem with any of the play calling per se. Was there anything that you really wished they did different other than run the ball more earlier?
I'm just saying, it just seems like now there's this mental block. You can't say they don't have the talent,
Yeah.
and we still run into the same problems.
I think it's, well, the same problems as Mahomes. We run into the same guy, but I just don't think in today's NFL you can ever be satisfied.
Yeah,
Like you're like, we have coaching, we have defense, we have a franchise QB. Let's run him back next year and let's play as good as we can play. And let's see if we can get over these guys. What else can they do? Maybe there's a free agent somewhere, but their main pieces are in place. Like maybe we try and get the home field, but I don't know what else they can do. They were equally matched opponents, but not enough to really win in the playoffs. This is a tough pill to swallow, and it's hard when it's the same guys going to the Super Bowl for 3 years in a row. It's really brutal. And I don't know where the blame really lies other than they got beat by the better team today. I think KC was the better team. I don't think that's a debate. Do you?
no, they were the better team.
They had the right defensive call when they needed, and they converted the 3rd and 9 to seal the game. I don't know what I can really blame on the Bills other than they needed that stop and they did
Didn't
not
get
get
it.
it. They had all their
Yep.
timeouts to use on defense. They saved them. They just didn't convert that 4th down. Maybe a little gray area on that Josh Allen sneak where 2 referees called it in different spots. They didn't miss a field goal. They didn't have a dumb turnover. I didn't see a play call or a referee call that kind of went one way or another. The only referee play call that I was questionable about today was that A.J. Brown catch on the sideline today in the first half, where it looks like his right foot comes down out of bounds. And they look at it and they're like, it's close. And all of a sudden they're running another play and we're just moving on. That was the only thing I could really say with the rest. Like, I don't know about that one. So do you like the KC Philly matchup? What was your ideal matchup going into today?
I wanted Commanders, Bills.
I did too. I think America did. I didn't
Right.
want to see Philly. Chiefs, we've seen forever. I wanted to see Commanders, Buffalo as well. Out of that, who did you want to win the Super Bowl?
I was gonna go for. I wanted the Bills.
Yeah, yeah. I think I would have went with that too. It was really brutal too when they cut away to the Buffalo Bills watch party when they took the lead, and they're watching in some like convention center or some Elks Lodge. Everybody's going crazy. I just can't imagine that place when the game ends and the Bills have lost. Like just the just the down feeling. You're like, we lost again. Let's all go home. It's freezing
Right.
outside. And then lastly, Taylor Swift still didn't wear any team colors. I'm really upset when you go to the luxury box and you don't even wear team colors.
I
I like it.
I think we're putting way too much pressure on them to really think these things through.
What? A fan go to a game and not wear team colors is
I don't
overthinking
think
it?
they
What do you
don't they
mean?
don't care. They're just making money.
Well, that's what I'm mad about is that they don't care.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Just a red sweater? Something? Are you for the team or not? All right, we have awards to do. The awards for the conference championship right here, live on YouTube. Our live stream last week was pretty good, pretty groundbreaking, Omar.
I like it.
Had a few people click the link, had a few people tell me they couldn't find it, but it was still up there later. So live on YouTube, and we'll be live for the Super Bowl too. All right.
Like it.
Just had my big picture notes. Philly offense was way more effective than I thought. Washington turnovers killed them. Replay talk this week. As far as reviewing personal fouls, was talked a lot about this week. So I think we're going to have a change to the replay system next year. Coach is moving around.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll?
Pete
now
Carroll
the coach?
going, and I was in Vegas this weekend. And
did you hear some Pete Carroll talk?
And there was some buzz. I think people like Pete Carroll there.
This is a big departure for the Raiders as far as coaches goes because they usually don't hire a name. Look who they hired.
They need to, Patrick, because I don't think
well, that's saying it's a departure, and I think maybe it's a good step. Look at their coaching in the past. Like what big name have they ever gotten? Gruden, you would say arguably is the biggest name in the last 10 plus years. Antonio Pierce, Josh McDaniels, Jack Del Rio's in there somewhere. We had Rich Bisaccia, the security guard. Last time we went to the playoffs, that kind of Gruden half year. So Pete Carroll is a big departure. And I'm hearing from all my Raiders Twitters that Tom Brady was 100% driving this. This was like all his doing. He was hands-on. He wants to find the coach. And of all the coaching jobs that were available, I think the Raiders were the least attractive.
Yeah.
So like, hey, come coach our team. We're in a division with the Chiefs. We're in the division with Harbaugh. We're in a division with Bo Nix and Sean Payton. We have no quarterback. We got Crosby, and we got a good tight end. Who wants to coach us?
Right.
And they wanted Ben Johnson first, didn't get him, and they got Pete Carroll. So I think there's reason to be excited as a Raiders fan. New Orleans is our last open coaching spot at the moment as you listen to this.
And I think maybe they're going to be waiting to talk to maybe Kingsbury from Washington. I think he revived his career. And we'll see who else is going to be in there. Though the one coaching position, the one hire that was just a head scratcher to me. Well, I didn't even should say it's a head scratcher. Brian Schottenheimer at the Cowboys. I wasn't seeing that.
I didn't even know he was on the staff, to be honest.
But when you think about it, that it makes total sense for Jerry Jones. And I think another case of this is no longer the fact that the Cowboys still call themselves America's team. I think that's a head scratcher that they shouldn't.
Yeah, I know, but you're bitter about the Cowboys.
No,
you don't
Patrick,
like the
but
Cowboys.
what have they done? I mean, why do we keep how are they any better than what the Raiders have done the last 30 years?
Well, they're definitely better than the Raiders the last 20 years. Do you know the Cowboys' average record is 12-5 though over the last 10 years? They just don't win any playoff games. They win
but
divisions.
Patrick, but again, when you're calling yourself America's team,
right? But that's is what I'm saying. Is like if they're bad, you're like you got to take that name from them.
You point out a Cowboys fan that loves this hire.
I think everybody's with you, scratching their head, but the America's team thing is beyond performance. It's almost like saying the most successful people in America are the Kardashians. And you go like, what? Why? Like, and then you show their net worth and you're like, I that's true, but I don't like this. I don't, and that's what the Cowboys are.
I just think, I mean, I think when you say America's team, I mean the Yankees, see, and I'm a Yankee hater, but they are America's team. They are relevant almost every year.
Hmm.
They're in World Series appearances decade after decade after decade. That's the
Yeah.
Yankees,
Well,
and
I think
that to
they're
me,
America's team because it goes off the field. It almost extends to culture, um,
okay.
just
So
capitalism in general.
what are they offering to the NFL
I think they're
that
an
no other team
example
can offer?
of Jerry Jones' capitalist success. The man buys a team, and the guy's made $1 billion.
The
He's built a stadium.
Commanders just brought in a new owner, a new GM, and a rookie quarterback, and they were on the cusp of a Super Bowl.
No, no, but you're not hearing my point. It's off the field. The Cowboys are a
And I still
representation.
and my thing is they still haven't done anything, Patrick, that would warrant them.
All right, I'm going to say what they've done off the field, and don't reply with they haven't won a Super Bowl. My my explanation for them being America's team is because of their success as an organization. I don't mean success as in wins. I mean success as in entrepreneurial, success as in making money. And it borders on the side of ugly American sometimes. But if you look at it like I'm going to buy a team, I know they had America's team before Jerry Jones, but I'm going to buy a team and I'm going to build an even bigger stadium and I want to have concerts in here and I'm going to be on the lips of every sports writer every single week and I'm just going to keep growing and growing and growing economically. And if I go 3-8, I'm still going to be on the lips of everybody's talk Monday morning. I think that's where that comes from is the America portion of it.
I think a lot of people are ready to move on from why. I mean, it just seems it's also been lately that we're more interested in other Thanksgiving games than the actual Dallas game. And when was that ever a thing?
Yeah. Yeah, Dallas has their own days, which Detroit does as well, but Dallas is the primetime game. It's never going to go away. It's just how it is. They're going to be America's team, and it's going to be the perfect argument because 50% of America doesn't like it, and 50% of America goes, "Fuck you."
There was a moment where Jake Paul had more wins in Cowboy Stadium. I mean, in Jerry World than Dak Prescott did.
Did you see this stat that Philadelphia had more running touchdowns today than Dallas did all season?
There you go. I mean,
Schottenheimer, it's your team, buddy.
yeah. So I
Wow.
don't know. It's a real head scratcher. But again, nothing surprises me anymore with the Cowboys. It's just I think it's a dumb hire. But I think again, it's just Jerry Jones driving that once proud franchise into irrelevance.
Yeah. And the other thing, Cowboys are cursed by their own doing. It's Super Bowl or failure for the Cowboys. Like, when do we ever have this discussion about the Jaguars? When do we ever have this discussion about the Titans? For Cowboys, it's like, are you great? Well, we didn't win the Super Bowl. You suck. They're held to a much higher standard. And we just have to always know about the Cowboys. I'm not even a Cowboys fan, and I have to know what time their game is on on Sundays. And I have to know who's going where. They might have been the least desirable coaching vacancy in the NFL now that I think about it. I never heard anybody say that, but what's up with Dak? What's up with the defense? What's up with everything? And who wants to coach you, Dallas Cowboys? Apparently, Marty Schottenheimer. Marty Schottenheimer. No, his son.
Ryan,
Sorry.
his
Ryan.
son.
Sorry. There's a gleam. All right, back to the awards. Most memorable moment. Omar, I got a couple nominees. I got, of course, the last possession by the Bills. Romo and Nance set it up perfectly. This is like for the Super Bowl. This is what you want. Memorable moment. I also got during the national anthem for Philly, Washington, they had a military serviceman sing the national anthem. I think that's always great when a person in uniform actually sings the national anthem. And that was the start of championship weekend. So I went with that as well. Those are my two nominees. What was your?
Mine most memorable is just going to be the look on Josh Allen's face sitting as Mahomes is celebrating
Mm,
that last first down to basically run out the clock. Just the look on Josh Allen's face.
He's got the great wide-eyed look, Josh Allen, where he looks kind of confused and in awe. He's dazed. That's a good lasting moment. Next award, the cringeworthy award. 2 nominees for me. I got turnovers. Just that third turnover, you're just like, this game's over. There's no way they keep doing this. It's so rough when you're watching a game, you're getting into it. There's a turnover and you're like, fuck it. I'm going to the kitchen. I'm going to the bathroom. Like, you have to physically walk away from a TV screen. And I added this cringeworthy award late. Steve Spagnuolo's hair. He's got weird hair. He's got the old dude spiky hair. He kind of looks like Jack Nicholson when his hair kind of gets out. So I went Spagnuolo's hair is cringeworthy as well. What do you think? Cringeworthy awards for the week.
I got to go with you, Patrick. That cringeworthy was just how big these turnovers really hurt the Commanders. It was sad to watch.
Yeah, it was ugly. I didn't like it because we didn't even get to see Jaden Daniels really get going. Right. They're just always playing from behind, and he was under stress, which ironically didn't get sacked that much considering how far they were down and how they were playing from behind. Next award, memeable moment. Easy one for me this week. Every single video of Philadelphia fans celebrating in the streets, I think you can make a meme about. I saw one where people are dancing on cars. I saw one where someone filmed their toddler trying to climb a street lamp, but the toddler wasn't getting anywhere.
Yeah.
So I went with that. Just Philadelphia celebration in the street. Make a meme about any of that. Go for that. How about you? Got any memes for the week?
I just think the effort it'd be like it'd be some sort of meme indicating effort for that James Cook stretch to get that touchdown.
Oh, I could see that, like a still image of him completely horizontal on the goal line. Best innovation for the week. Maybe this isn't an innovation, but I'm going to say it anyway. How about the punch out? where the defender punches the ball, physically punches the ball, and it seems like it works 50% of the time. There was a really good one against Mahomes right at the goal line that he held strong on. So I went with the punch out. Whoever invented that as a strategy, because what do you think? The punch out's been around 10 years, maybe more. I don't remember the punch out as a kid.
Oh, Peanut Tillman made it a thing, in those big Bears defensive runs.
What year was that? Because for some reason I remember
2005. It's been around for a while. Peanut Tillman was just causing a lot of havoc.
Oh, 2005 sounds about right, when all of a sudden everybody saw you could do that. The punch out. That's my innovation. What do you got?
I've always liked it that the NFL crew, whether it be from CBS or Fox, I do like that they go out of they are out of the studio and they're actually there broadcasting from the field on Championship Sunday.
Did you see Tom Brady throw a pass to Gronk?
No, I didn't see that.
Philly game? Yeah, it was fun. Like, you're on the field, they're kind of hamming it up, and he throws a little pass to Gronk. Just, one for the old days. Also, I was thinking when it comes to Tom Brady, he's always going to have the little legacy of like, hey, Mahomes, remember I kicked your ass in that Super Bowl? You'll never be better than me. He always will have that. Man, unbelievable. He got one on Mahomes. All right, what do you got? Innovation. Did you give an innovation?
Yeah, that's what I said. The team, the news teams being there.
Oh yeah, news teams on the field. I didn't get a look of what Aaron Andrews looked like this week. Last week was a 10 out of 10, and I don't even know if she was on camera. I think it was just voice. Next award, the Hot Take Award. You know what I'm thinking we're going to hear a lot of talk about between now and Super Bowl is Kellen Moore head coach talk, offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles.
I don't think any.
No?
I don't. I hope not. I don't think there's anything dynamic he's doing. I thought if the Cowboys were to hire him, it was just going to be Jason Garrett 2.0. Um,
Mhm.
but we'll see.
You don't like him as any head coach talk. All right. Well, it was my hot take. That was the guy I thought the Cowboys were going to get. Like, that seemed like a very Cowboys hire. All right. Hot take. What do you think?
Hot take: the Jaden Daniels will be back in the NFC Championship game next year.
That's good. Have you been enjoying all the tweets and Instagrams reporting that Dan Snyder's furious that
Yeah, I did. I was going to
that the
mention that.
Commanders
I
are so
was going
good?
to mention that. Yes.
Hey,
I
Dan.
actually
Hey, Dan
read
Snyder. That's how
it
it's
on
gonna
the
go,
flight
buddy.
today from Vegas. I did read that article.
It's kind of funny that he's mad that they're good. He's like, "Damn it! I wanted you guys to fail without me." Just like what a bad what a bad
But it's
person.
kind of the story seemed kind of petty. They were talking about all this
Right.
like 11th hour stuff that he was refusing to give like the routing numbers or the wired number for so that they wouldn't pay him. Like they're like, hey man, we have like $6 billion for you, and he wasn't returning their calls.
Just seems like an evil businessman all the way through.
Right.
Nothing is simple with Dan Snyder. Just always a problem. How long was he the owner of the Commanders? Like God,
Over
what
20
dark
years.
days.
Over 20 years.
Oh, what dark days. That's rough. What a season, Commanders. Like Commanders in a loss might have had the greatest postseason. Next award, the Sunday double feature. I got two. Pick which one you like the most. We're going to New Orleans for the Super Bowl. You know what's a great New Orleans movie? The Pelican Brief.
Good movie.
I've seen the movie many times. I still don't fully understand what it's about, but it was just two A-listers, Denzel and Julia Roberts, at the right time of their careers, based on a book. You're just like, this movie is smart. I'm a smart person for liking this movie. I went Pelican Brief, and then my second nominee, somewhere around the 30th major hit that Josh Allen kept taking on those QB sneaks. Remember that part in Lethal Weapon where Mel Gibson gets his shoulder knocked out of the socket? And
Yes.
he has to put it back in himself, and then he keeps shooting his gun. I was like, I think Josh Allen is Mel Gibson from Lethal Weapon right now.
I like that.
Just constantly getting battered, full of blood. His shirt's half off. Like, I'm gonna give you Lethal Weapon, Josh Allen. What do you got? Sunday double feature.
I'm gonna go with,
Which is
I'm
your favorite
gonna
movie of those two? Before you tell me.
a Lethal Weapon.
Mm.
I think that would have been Lethal Weapon 4.
Oh, which one was Lethal? Was that? Which one was Lethal Weapon 4?
That was that with the Japanese with the Chinese triad.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. I think I saw it in the theaters. That had lots of good one-liners too. Like
Hmm.
Mel Gibson gets in a fight with like the Japanese gang, and then he's walking back to his car, and Danny Glover's like, "What took you?" And he's like, "I had some bad Chinese." You're just like, "Oh my god, this movie's on its own. This movie's on fire." All right, what's your double feature?
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna also point out that I chose Miller Lite tonight in honor of Bob Uecker.
Oh,
The great he passed away this week from my childhood. Tastes great, less filling commercials, but also Major League, just a bit outside.
wow. Well, maybe next week we'll do this show just a bit outside. Bob Uecker. So he went Major League. Major League 1 or 2? Which one do you
One.
like? 1. Right. I never saw Major League till way later in life. I knew it from the preview of movies you would rent. You'd rent a movie and there'd be previews before, and this movie Major League. And I was like, what is Major League? Looks pretty good. And then I didn't get to watch it till I was way older. Next award, I actually have a montage award for the week. And I went with all the like old school Washington Commanders / Redskin Instagram posts, videos of the
Oh,
past during
and
this
that for me
week.
wasn't just the Commanders. I did appreciate like the montage of the old Eagles, Redskins,
Mm.
Commanders, the historic.
Oh, they're like games throughout the years.
Yeah, I like
Mhm.
that, and so I'm gonna go with that was my montage award.
I also dug that Saquon Barkley had these little black cleats on today. It kind of gave me a good throwback of when Randall Cunningham would wear the black shoes on the green jersey, or Mike Quick would have black shoes, which really clashes with like the green field. I like that. Good throwback too. So Washington montages of days of yore. And like you said, sprinkling the Philly. That's my montage. What are you going for montage? The Philly
That's
stuff?
why I did like the history of the old NFC East montages I was watching.
Yeah. And also like the Philly green and the Washington maroon are two colors that really, really like clash. They do not go well together. So it makes for good viewing on TV. Next award, the announcer award. I got to say, Brady had some good ones today. He had some good little quips during the game, but I got one. This gets my award. Gene Steratore, they bring in like the rules official during the game to like talk about plays and stuff. And Gene Steratore does this whole thing. It's like, next year we talk about replay assist is going to look at penalties as well, because it seems like if we can replay, like he says this for like 2 minutes and then there's a pause and then Romo goes, I like it. That's all he said. So I'm going to give it to Romo and the I like it.
I can't give an award. Like I said, Patrick, I was not really listening to the audio today. Most of my game was just watching the actual TV. I mean, watching the screen.
Right. So you just went visual.
Went visual.
Went visual, yeah. Yes, that way you kind of like do the announcing in your own head.
Yeah,
You ever
yeah,
notice that?
exactly.
You're like, all right, 3rd and 6, they got to throw it. Okay, what do they got? The 4-man rush. Like sometimes you have this inner monologue that you don't even realize is going on. Next award is the location award. It's easy to pick, the 2 home stadiums, but I gave the location award during the CBS broadcast. They run an ad for the Pebble Beach golf tournament, and they're doing like the little sweeping helicopter shot, and Jim Nantz just goes, beautiful. And I was like, I think you're right. And I think he even said like, this is the most beautiful place in America. I was like, I forgot, Jim Nantz loves golf. Loves it. So I go Pebble Beach, got my location award today.
As far as location award, I'm going to go with New Orleans right now. It's going to be all eyes are going to be in New Orleans in 2 weeks. It's going to be an indoor game. But
Yeah, good
I
point.
wanted to I'm going to be saying leading up to the Super Bowl. Are we going to have any? Can our rap community behave itself at this award?
You love pre-Super Bowl drama, arrests,
Patrick,
issues.
rest. I've always liked, when
You love arrests.
Robinson from
Eugene Robinson.
Eugene Robinson got arrested.
Soliciting an undercover prostitute cop.
Was it Barrett Robbins disappeared? Yeah.
Yep. Our center, Raider center, had a full-on mental breakdown, went to Mexico.
But I think we have here, we have Kendrick Lamar is going to be, he's going to be the headliner. What's going to happen? I mean, he's basically called other rappers pedophiles, so I can't imagine he's very popular with a certain group of people.
Oh, I didn't know about this rap drama behind that. What do you think as far as cities to host a Super Bowl? Like, what's a city that would lend itself to players getting in the most trouble? New Orleans has got to be up there, right?
Oh, Vegas.
Right, but Vegas is new, and we had it there a couple years ago. So Vegas would definitely be one moving forward. What else would you put in there? I guess Miami has got potential.
Miami, Vegas. That's where you got to look at.
New Orleans. Where are you on an indoor Super Bowl versus an outdoor? Do you have a favorite Super Bowl venue?
No, I don't. I guess the one year it was cold in New York, I don't know if I was a big fan of that.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really liked that one. It was almost like a novelty, and it was such a bad game.
Right.
Yeah. To me, I think you got to have them outside, and really, if you're going to have it in February, it's got to be on one side of the coast.
Right.
So that limits you, but to me, the Super Bowl's got to be outside. Although we've had great indoor games too. All right, best quote. You knew, you knew this was coming. I wrote down the referee's quote explaining the 5 penalties during the tush push. And here it is from the referee, from the head referee of the Washington Philly game, addressing the crowd. At some point, the referee can award a score if this type of behavior happens again. For now, it's a replay of second down. I don't know if that's ever been said on a mic to a crowd.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll go with that one too. It's a head scratcher, but it's kind of like telling your kid if you don't finish your dinner, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna feed you again.
Right. Yeah, you don't like what we have? Great, don't eat. It's the we have food at home. I do like his statement starts with at some point. And he's like, hey, I might say this at any time. You might be on the 50, and I say, give Washington 4 points. Give them 4.5. All right, what's your best quote? Or you like that one too?
I like that one too. And remember, I didn't get much quotes in because I wasn't really listening today.
So you're watching what'd you say, a dance recital or singing
Singing.
recital?
My daughter's singing. It was Lulu's singing performance.
Oh, so not only do you have to watch, you also have to listen.
Oh yeah.
That makes it even harder to kind of sneak some viewing of a phone.
I did notice, I don't want to say who, but I did notice a parent may have had something had like one of those Yeti cooler mugs, and I was very suspicious what that parent was drinking.
Oh, right. Oh, that definitely goes on at this parent stuff, don't you think? Because I mean,
I didn't think so, but it was pretty obvious to me that this is going on.
I would think it goes on a lot because I would say once your kid gets past 3 or 4 years old, you're done with any way you can be impressed by anything they do at that age. So it's like now it's a point of like, this is no longer than an hour, right? Okay, great. I can make it 45 minutes. All right, what else can I do to make this entertaining? I would imagine that goes on a lot. And
Yeah.
also, if I were to say to these schools and these travel baseball leagues and all this stuff, no scheduling stuff on days where there's significant football games. Conference and Super Bowl, just X that off your calendar. Don't put the parents in
But
this
you know what? In a
position.
way, the NFL's kind of done that because under normal circumstances, this performance would have been done on the week between the championship Sunday
That would have
and
been better.
you know.
That would have been better if the performance was the week between. I'm just saying,
But I'm saying is it normally is. It's just because
oh,
the NFL adds a week. You know what I mean?
well, I'm saying they need to go by the NFL.
Yeah,
They
I
need
think
to,
everybody should go by the NFL.
yeah, and like don't nobody schedule a wedding on Super Bowl Sunday. Don't
Right.
anybody do anything like that. That's child abuse at some point. All right, next award, best play call / coaches award. I threw in there the fake punt. I love fake punts. It was a great play call. It gave the Commanders juice. It didn't really do anything, but I love a fake punt.
I liked the Redskins going for it early on fourth down. I just don't know why they stopped.
Yeah, just keep going for it. Oh, I left out a best quote. This one's pretty good. The Chiefs score a touchdown, and they do a shot of Taylor Swift cheering in the press box, and Tony Romo goes, "Hey, Jim, it's Taylor Swift. She's cheering. She's saying, 'We're up 7.'" And he does like this female voice. So Tony Romo's impression of Taylor Swift saying "we're up 7," which I'd be willing to bet 4 or 5 figures that is exactly not what Taylor Swift was saying. I don't think Taylor Swift has ever uttered the phrase "we're up 7" during a football game in Tony Romo's female voice. So throw that in there. We're up 7. Tony Romo's impression of Taylor Swift. Last award. Who won the week, Omar?
Saquon Barkley.
I also had Philly's running game run the week. They also had that play where the second string running back got in and almost scored a touchdown. Did you see that? Where he had the long run and then he runs out of breath and he kind of just falls down at the 5. I was like, just
Right.
Philly's running game in general. Great day. I went Phillies running game, and I also went with Steve Magnolo's well-timed blitz. Won the week as well.
And I also want to go with Jalen Hurts' knee, although it's probably sore right now, but it held up for 60 minutes.
Maybe Jalen Hurts' knee brace won the week?
Maybe.
There was a lot of footage of that knee brace before the game. Like, here's what his leg looks like without the knee brace. Here's what it looks like with the knee brace. And we're like, oh, yeah, look at that. There's something under there. Oh, my God. Well, conference championship Sunday. We did it. We got through it. It was quite the day. I wish Washington would have put up a better game, but I'm not unhappy with it. And KC and Buffalo was really fun. Bummed out for Josh Allen?
Very bummed out.
Are you? Yeah. It seems like you are. It seems like you were really hoping for the Bills to get over the hump.
I had it all year. I was really...
You did. It's bound to happen sometime. Well, we have one more Sunday night talk in the season, Omar. It's 2 Sundays from now. Maybe there'll be something in between.
Yeah, maybe do a pre-Super Bowl. I think we got to do our prop betting this, but really like just let everybody know what we think who's going to score first. I'm going to go with a Jake Elliott field goal, first score of the Super Bowl.
I'm definitely putting some money on that somebody's missing an extra point in this Super Bowl.
Okay.
I'll give a little credit to the rules committee. I think it's way better that the extra points are where they are compared to years past. I like that it's almost like a 60-40 chance that they make it or not. And it comes back to haunt them potentially. So, Super Bowl. We're going to have something in between potentially, making our picks, prop bets. One more game to go in the season. For me, Patrick Ramirez, for Omar Carmona. We'll see everybody soon. Happy Conference Championship Sunday. Omar, I'll see you soon.
All right, see ya.